Morning, everybody. It's Monday morning. Time for the morning drive. Feeling good this week already. I tell you, it's going to be a good day today. It's going to go by fast. That's what I like. Quick, easy days. Just get the day through so I get home and have some me time. I give them my 8 or 9 hours or whatever they demand, but I'll tell you after that, just me. So hopefully you guys had a good weekend. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with me on the stream on Friday. I actually got de-virginized, got my first follower in there. Felt good. Had a really great conversation. That's kind of what I was looking forward to, you know, getting some great people together, have some good talks. So anyway, as I said, today's Monday, so I'm going to try and kick this week off and have a positive attitude. Last week was kind of grueling because we're still kind of reconstructing, putting things back together after that hurricane. Got hit with that Cat 5, and it's just been non-stop grind trying to get everything back the way it's supposed to be. At the where I work at a prison. For those of you that don't know, what a wonderful job that is. I mean, it's where you can at least make a difference, and hopefully one person is all. You know, that's all I care about, just trying to make every day count, make a difference in one person's life. I'm an instructor there. I teach technology, so it's great because I get to teach these guys about, you know, computers and basically everything they need to know. They go through their A+ certification. They get their Network Plus certification. These guys come out, hopefully, with the credentials and the knowledge to better themselves in whatever they decide to do in the computer field. That's what I try to do. It's been really an interesting, you know, last couple months after this hurricane, just trying to get everything back. And they're suspecting that today's going to be the day, or maybe Tuesday will be the day, where we get our first batch of inmates back. They had to ship them all out because the prison was literally devastated, could not house any inmates, so they shipped them all out. And so today or tomorrow is supposed to be the day that they come back, or some of them anyway. I think they're going to do a couple hundred, or I don't know, this week sometime. I'm not sure. The thing is, they've been up and down because they've got inspections to go through, so they don't really know the exact day or if it's going to be this week. But they're planning on sometime this week, maybe next week, depending on these stupid. You know, they have to go through, as I said, and get their occupancy permits and make sure that everything's safe. That's the number one thing. Safe and safe and secure. So we'll see how it goes today. Oh, what a weekend. Woo. Boy, I tell you, this is the weirdest state I've ever lived in. Well, next to Michigan, it's the weirdest state. Florida is unbelievable. It's like temperature up and down, up and down. It's freezing one morning, 30-something or 40, you know, not freezing, but it's cold one morning. The next morning it can be 60 degrees. It's kind of like Michigan, you know, weather changes day to day. One day it can be just, you know, you think in the sunshine state. Now, I'm not going to do McDonald's today. I'm going to try and, this will close out that week of from the first till now, no carbs. I want to see how, I'm going to do a weigh-in maybe today, a little bit later this afternoon. I want to kind of see what I weigh, if it's working at all. I feel better. I feel a little bit more lighter, I guess, is probably the best way to say it. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not sure what this week is going to bring. I do know that when I get into work today, I've got 20 plus computers that I've got to get back on the network, connected to the server. I got to push them out all new images. You know, I've got a lot of work ahead of me today, and the nice part is, you know, I have all this to do and only half the actual furniture and equipment that I need in the room. So we're going to see what they do today, if they can locate some temporary furniture for these computers. Otherwise, I'll be sitting on the floor and we'll do it Asian style, I guess. Cross their legs and just sit down and work on the computers. I don't know. Oh, man. So, yeah, this weekend was, it went by quick. I don't know if it went by quick for you guys. If you're on the road, you know, today, or if you're looking to go, if you're heading back to work, or if you're just getting up. Man, I don't know how the weekend went by so fast. I literally heard the alarm go off today, and I was like, no, it's not Monday yet. It's Sunday. I don't know why. I thought it was Sunday. It just went by so quick. And I think that's it. When you have something to do and you're kind of busy, do you ever notice that? You're busy, you got things clicking along, man, time just flies by. But when things are dead and you don't have anything to do, time still flies by. It doesn't matter because it's the weekend. You know, the weekend, they say that most heart attacks occur on Monday mornings. So I try to get up every Monday and just meet the day with, thank God I'm still alive, if you believe in God. Just greet the day. Make sure that I try and stay positive, because sometimes those Mondays can be stressful, and today's no different than any other day. It's going to be just as stressful as it was, all last week. So try and stay positive if you can with it. I kind of count my blessings now, more now than ever. I never really realized. People would say, "Well, count your blessings." That whole statement went over my head most of the time, because I never, what does that mean, count your blessings? Well, now as I'm older, I know what it means. It means count your blessings, exactly that. And a lot of times we can't see what our blessings are. Well, what do you mean blessings? I'm not blessed on anything. But actually, truly, we are. I mean, I'm blessed every morning I get up, and I can actually wake up and get out of bed, and I'm relatively healthy. I mean, that's kind of the way I look at it. So that's a blessing right there. I do have, a family that's healthy for the most part. I mean, just like everyone, they all have, health issues from time to time, but overall, no cancers yet, anything like that, so who knows. But I do like reading about a lot of these things, that the new innovations that they're coming up within medical. I don't know if you guys, there's a great website called Science Daily. If you ever get a chance, it's like where they take from all the medical journals and publications and studies that are done at major universities, and it covers technology, health, space, from MIT, Berkeley, Harvard, just anywhere they're doing research on different fields, and it'll actually put it all together, and you can go there every day, ScienceDaily.com, and you can go and actually read all the cool stuff that they're doing, whether it's on, stem cell research, gene therapies, whether it's space, where they're the Hubble's doing this, or they're, whatever the topic is, technology, if you want to learn about, nano this, or, any of the stuff that they're doing in technology, it's there. It's one of the coolest sites I've been on, because I learned so much. As a matter of fact, yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. I learned about a lot of the new innovations that the breakthroughs, if you will, that they're making in aging, and they've actually taken mice, which is what they use in the labs, because it has a very, very short lifespan, but very much, emulates the same. It's just on a very much expedited level, but they actually can use these mice to simulate humans because of how their metabolism, how everything works within the lab. Anyway, I was just reading where they had taken mice. Now, 2 years old for a mouse, a 2-year-old mouse is considered very old. I mean, that's compared to us, we're in the 70s or 80s. And what they did is literally have been able to double the lifespan. These mice are literally rolling back. They're looking at their cells. It's rolling back the aging process, and these mice stay healthier, and they're much more, lively, energetic, intelligent. They maintain that for a period of time, twice as long as a normal lifetime. And what they're doing is saying that with this type of technology, our lifespans can be extended, and that's what they're kind of doing. They're trying to stop that aging process, because as we get older, everything starts to fail. It doesn't matter. It's just part of life. You start losing, your hair, but your health starts to decrease. But what they're saying is this actually revitalize all your cells, kind of like revitalizing everything that goes bad as we age, and making it as if we were 10 years, 20 years younger. and that's what their goal is, to double the lifespan. Now, some people may say there's a problem with that when you look at it from the standpoint of, if you double everybody's lifespans, we just don't have the resources for that. There's all kinds of other arguments, but making sure that even if you don't double the lifespan, even if you don't even increase the lifespan, I think making everyone live a more that's why the Alzheimer and dementia that studies that they have there, I've been reading a lot about those. They've actually got some great really great breakthroughs on for patients that have Alzheimer's, dementia. They basically have a much better understanding how everything's working, what's happening, and they have found ways to reverse it. They've actually have the one I read the other day had it where they found out by, I want to say they're using sound waves, or they're using what was it? I think it was sound waves to break up like amyloid plaques within the brain, and they've been able to in laboratory studies with like rats and mice and these other whatever they use in the labs, whatever you want to call them, guinea pigs, if you will. They've been able to simulate what would happen, with the amyloid plaques in the human brain, and now it was so positive they've actually pushed it through to human studies now, to where they're saying this is a way of taking these plaques, which we couldn't get through this barrier. I think it was called the brain-body barrier or something. It was something that was preventing medications from targeting these amyloid plaques. And what they found out is by externally using these sound waves or whatever, it would break them up into such small microscopic pieces they would be absorbed, and it wasn't harmful, and it didn't have all the side effects that drugs or any medications would have. So that was one of the cool things that I learned. That was, I think, maybe last week or the week before. But if you want to learn some cool stuff, it talks about the computers. It talks about they've been developing a biological computer, if you will, which is like a living computer. That was really interesting. Just cool stuff. You always. That's what I like to do. I like to always try and find something that's unique, interesting. That I can actually learn a little bit about something, some study that they've done on something. That's where I first started, when they came up when they discovered graphene. That was one of the places that I went, and I learned all about graphene and the different properties and the different benefits and the different possible ways it would enhance technology. From batteries. Imagine a cell phone. Imagine a cell phone that you could put into a charger, and the full charge in just a couple minutes, and then it'll hold a charge, and actually the batteries can give you a month-long, battery length on these things. And imagine batteries that are totally flexible. So now if you wanted a motorcycle, if you wanted a moped or something, a little motorbike, they could actually make the frame of the actual vehicle into the battery. So the frame of that vehicle, because it can be bent, the way it can be manipulated, could actually be the battery. And so now you can charge these batteries for longer. You can take shorter time to charge them, just a matter of minutes. And because they can be bigger now and lighter than regular conventional batteries, now you can increase how far you travel on an electrical charge in these electrical vehicles. So that's pretty cool. Just little things like that you pick up and you're like, wow, didn't even think about that, how this stuff would impact. And most of it is just 5 years, 10 years out. But it's cool to go back in the archives and see the things that they talked about, way back when, and actually see how it's come over the years to fruition, how a lot of these studies have led to a lot of cool things. So, anyway, so let me think. What happened this weekend? Anything good? Oh, I'll tell you one of the interesting things this weekend, which I just, how many people, I'm not sure, how many folks out there actually find themselves being the emotional springboard for people that you meet. That just kind of seem to open up to you and just overshare maybe. I don't know how you say it. But that they feel that they talk. I had a total stranger, never met this person, and obviously felt comfortable enough to chat. And I just thought it was so funny. You know, I'm thinking, you know, the first thought is crazy lady, you know, crazy person. That's my, you know, your first thought when somebody comes up to you, and you know, just it goes from casual chit chat, casual talk, to a way more than you really expected. You're like, you know, they're like talking about relationship and, you know, what's going on in their life and this and that. I'm like, okay, well, you know, we all, and I didn't say this, but, you know, in my head, I'm thinking, well, we all have our problems to deal with. But I get the feeling that it was weighing heavy on her mind, and I just kind of, you know, shared and said, well, you know, this is how I would look at it. And the neat part was, which I really thought was cool, is after we talked, you know, this, they think about this, probably about I'd say about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I got the impression that she felt better and had a clearer, maybe her thoughts were a little bit clearer than they were originally. But I did find it kind of interesting. And this was you know, this is just one of those moments where I was like, wow, you know, did that really make a difference? Did that? But then I started thinking about it, and I went, it had to make some difference, because whole demeanor changed when she left. And I was like, okay, well, 20 minutes, she feels better, she obviously is in a better mood, she's probably going to go home and talk to her significant other, and hopefully things will be better. But I just noticed that, and you know, and I think my wife has noticed it too, people tend to gravitate, and not just to me, to her too. They will come to us, and then we can start out with the most simplest conversation about the weather, and all of a sudden it's like topic goes to topic, and then all of a sudden we're in these deep personal discussions about their life, or things that they've gone through, things that they've, and I was wondering, is that just because everybody likes to share their experiences, or is it that, you know, somebody's looking for validation on decisions they've made? Because I mean, that's, you know, if you ever play poker, everybody has a bad beat story. They'll tell you how their full house was cracked by four of a kind, or, you know, they always have these bad beat stories, and they tell everybody their bad beat stories. And I think it's because they, in that instance, they're desperately seeking, you know, they're seeking validation that they made the right call, and they did what was right, and just got unlucky, and it was just pure luck that they lost, you know. So I think that maybe in life that's the same thing. Maybe people overshare, or, you know, or are just so ready to share because they're just looking for either, maybe it's just another view, another opinion. Maybe they're just seeking someone else that has had similar, you know, similar situations, or they're, like I said, they're just looking for another possible way to view an issue. Because it's unusual though, but it happens all the time. In our case, I wonder if do you got people like that in your life that you've met that just kind of overshare, and they kind of open up from their personal stuff and let you in? And why is that? I mean, is it just they feel comfortable with you after 5 minutes or 10 minutes of knowing you? Or is it the fact that they say, you know what, I'll talk to this person because the odds of me ever seeing this person again are 1 in a million, so I'll share this, get a viewpoint, and then move on. There's got to be reasons. And but yeah, it was kind of nice though to walk away going, yeah, hopefully I made a little difference, made things better. You always like to make things better, and people have trouble. I mean, people have trouble. They have money problems. You know, they have relationship problems. They have job problems, family problems. You know, personal, professional. all these things that we go through in our life, day to day to day, we get up, we go through the same grind every day. And you ever think to yourself, the way, I mean, from time to time, I sit there and I think, wow, I've just done this. I did my day, like today, I feel, I'm like, it's the same routine over and over and over till you die. I mean, it's just like you have this routine. It's the same thing. Monday through Friday, I get up at this time. I go here at this time. Some people joke, it's called the job. Yeah, I understand that. But at what point do you say to yourself, there's got to be more than this? There's got to be something more to life than just what I'm doing. I'll tell you, the first part that really opened my eyes to a lot was when I started my own companies. I started doing my own thing, and even when I worked for a company called Deutsche Post, and through that company I got to travel tons. I mean, I was all over the world. I got to go, places that I would never normally. I probably never would. If I had not been with that company at that time in my life, I would not have been to Paris. I would not have been to Berlin. I would not have been to Costa Rica. I would not have been to Belgium. And I wouldn't have been to all these different places all over the United States and seen the country. I would never, ever have done that in my life. I mean, I would watch the Travel Channel, or I would have been, because we live in these little microcosms. In the world, there's so much more out there. But of course, what happens? Well, we don't have the time to go. We don't have the money to go. We don't have the resources. We don't have, there's a million different reasons we don't do things. And I think to myself, I would have missed out. Those experiences were so enriching to me. It makes me want to go back and do it again and go other places. But I would never have been able to do that if it wasn't for that little change that I made in my life to work for that company. So I think to myself, change is going to happen whether you stay where you are doing the same thing day after day, living a life where you've got the food, shelter, clothing covered. You got some simple enjoyments that you like. Maybe you like movies, or you like this, or you got hobbies. But there's just that little microcosm of life. And it took a while before I realized, wow, there's so much out there. I mean, I think of people that stay in bad relationships, right? They get married, and they end up, or they're just boyfriend and girlfriend, whatever, but they end up staying in bad relationships. And the thing is, it's like they don't realize, look, if I just extricate myself from something that's not working, this obviously is not making me happy. I have no idea why people stay in things that don't make them happy. Now, we all have moments of unhappiness. We do. Some people even have some depression. I mean, we have those things in our life. Everybody does. You've had moments in your life that make you sad, make you unhappy. And that's understandable. And nothing should last forever. Nothing should be extended. Like, if you're miserable today and tomorrow and next week and next year, maybe you have to really kind of consider what the hell, what's going on, that this is a situation that I'm terribly miserable when this happens. There's got to be some change in your life that's worth it. You got to have some kind of a goal to make living in misery, tolerable. People work in jobs they hate because they can't get other jobs to hate, newer jobs, or they can't get the things that fulfill them in life. So they keep working for these companies that don't appreciate them. Are very, a lot of times you'll hear me say that we how can I put it? We spend more time earning a living than living a life. And a lot of time it's because you're working for companies that truly are unappreciative. They're not. You're a number. You're just a cog in a larger machine to do a job, and you don't have the job satisfaction that you would like. And those are times where you have to, maybe take a new look at everything and reassess if you're happy with your job. But in life in general, I just think that so many people stay unhappy, and it kind of confuses me. I wonder why people stay in those situations. I mean, that might be something tonight we'll talk about at 7 o'clock. We'll do the morning drive this morning. I'll do the afternoon drive at around 3:15, 3:30-ish, whatever time we, usually around 3:15, 3:30. Do the afternoon drive. And then tonight at 7, maybe we'll talk a little bit about that, why people literally stay in situations that they're miserable in. I don't get it. I mean, what is it that your brain tells? Are you told that it'll change? It'll get better? Is that what we do? We tell ourselves things will get better, or do we take those brief moments of happiness and say, well, 90% of it's shit, but every now and then we get some good things happen? I mean, what is the thought process? I'd be curious. But, oh my God. Hopefully I'm not coming down with a cold. I feel all this congestion and I always chalk it up to lack of sleep. Because I haven't got much. That's what makes Mondays even more tough, because trying to maximize the awake time on the weekends, and you end up going to sleep at 1:30 in the morning, and you're like, well, if I go to sleep at 1:30, I don't got to get up till this time, so I get 3.5, 4 hours sleep if you get full-time sleep. But which I don't. Most people don't get full 8 hours. I mean, if you're busy, I mean, that's what I'd love to have. If I could actually get 8 hours of sleep, because they say it's not healthy. They say when you get less sleep than 8 hours, which I get 3 to 4, they said it's not healthy. It's bad for you. And I look at it and I think, wow, I said, you know what? I never really thought about how it impacts my health. I just thought, yeah, lack of sleep, I'll catch up. Maybe Monday through Thursday or Friday, I'll be terribly tired most of the week, but I'll catch it up on Saturday. But you don't. You end up saying, well, look, I got to make the most out of my time on Saturday and Sunday, because then I got to get up and do it all over again. Well, that's that rat race. God, I hate it. I'm just like, I don't know. It's frustrating because, I could quit tomorrow. I don't have to be here. I can quit, and I know I can find another job. But you know what? It's that whole thing of going, all right, I got to quit here. I got to go through an interview process, find it, but it's going to be the same thing. Unless it's a job that you love, you're happy, you're fulfilled in it, you're still going to have that, that desire for something better, which we all have. I mean, we all want more than we have. We all want something better, I would hope, in our lives. You look for the right person, you look for the right job, you look for the right house, you look for the right car, you look to have the right type of family, you want to be happy. Everybody kind of wants the same thing, but how they go about getting it, is a little different, but the routine seems to be the same. You go to school, you get your education, for the most part. There's a lot of people that don't. There's a lot of people that don't go through high school, which they live by the street smarts, I guess. I knew a lot of people like that growing up. Never finished high school, never went to college. Most of them were dead or in jail. But I think that's a huge thing. We always talk about crime and all these things. I'll tell you what I see working in a prison every day. I will tell you one of the most obvious things, and I never really thought about before, but one of the most obvious things that I correlate to everybody in this prison, I mean literally everybody in this prison, I would say less than 10% less than 10% of these people have an education. Everybody else, 90% of every inmate I come into contact with, I don't want to say stupid or dumb, I don't want to say that, but they're uneducated. They didn't go through college, they didn't go through, they didn't even finish high school in a lot of cases. So when people say that education is directly related to ending up in prison, I can say I really truly believe that. I believe that you want to keep people out of prison. There's really, I would say there's education, family, and community. Those are probably the three things that would keep the prisons empty. If you raise, there's so many. Let me let you in on a little secret. There's absolutely little effort in banging out kids. You got all these piece of shit fathers that go and they have all these babies that they don't support, they're not in their lives, they skip out, and they call themselves a man. They call themselves men, but really they're just pieces of shit that have done nothing but been a blight on society and literally the world in general. They're just, I have actually, no, let me rephrase that. I have no respect for deadbeat dads and people that are like that just want nothing to do with their kids. They don't want to have any kind of relationship with them. They're not there to raise them and help raise them and be there when they need them. They are pieces of shit that should themselves be in prison and eliminated as quickly as possible from the gene pool. They don't need to breed. They don't need to be out there. They are worthless. I don't want to hear that, they didn't have an education themselves, or they were a product of a bad environment. You know what? Bullshit. They know what they're doing, and if you can't, if you can't take care of your kids and your relationships, you don't need to be a father. So I have really, absolutely no respect for them and complete disdain for any individual that has kids and can't stay in a family and be part of that family to raise those children right. That really takes me up. Now, there's a lot of, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of fathers that love being a father, but because of a divorce or something with the mother, they can't see their kids, they don't see their kids. That's fucked. That's screwed up. That, if you've got, an opportunity, because it takes two parents. I don't care. They say it takes a village to raise, but that's true. It takes two parents, and you want to have them in the right atmosphere. But I will say that if you're a father and you have kids that you love, you want to be a part of their life, then be a part of their life. Don't make excuses. She said this. She wouldn't let me. I don't want to hear that. You fight for it. You become a part. That just your ability to fight for it and desire to be a part speaks volumes to that child. Well, they know that dad wants to be there, or mom wants to be there, and does everything they can to take care of the time. Make that child a priority, and I think all of a sudden you'll start seeing that a lot of these prisons become a little less filled. Education, a decent family life, and community. Sometimes you don't have the family life that you want, and your parents aren't what you want them to be, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have to fall into the wrong element. You can still find community and other people that I always one of the things that always helped me whenever things weren't going my way, or I wasn't getting the things that I wanted, or it always actually made it better when I would actually be able to help someone else. I actually got more satisfaction and more self-worth when I knew that I helped somebody else that could, that was actually in need. It's the weirdest thing. I never saw it that way back then. I would just do because I felt, it's something as simple. I used to be very jaded, cynical individual, and I still am to a great extent, all of those things. But like when I would pass somebody holding up a sign, okay, and I'll tell you, this is true. Somebody would be holding up a sign, "We'll work for food," or whatever, and And I would literally go to McDonald's or Burger King, and I know what you're thinking, oh, and you'd buy him something to eat. No, I'd get a damn application for McDonald's or Burger King, and I would drive up to him and just hand him the application and tell him, well, go get a job. Don't stand out here beg for food. You will work for food? Here, go get a job. They'll feed you and they'll pay you. So, you know, I was very cynical, because I don't want to hear your sob story, why you're on the corner, why this and why that. You know, I don't want to hear that bull. You know what? You want to go get a job. With that being said, at that time, that was coming from a person that had never been homeless, that had never hungered for anything, that had never starved, that had never not provided for his family or himself. So it was a very different person. Now, when bad luck befalls you and you actually become in that situation where you need help but can't find it, it's a very scary thing. When you don't see a future, you don't see a way out of your circumstances, then all of a sudden I became more receptive to their plights when I would see these people struggling. And it no longer became the application I gave them. It became the application along with a meal, along with suggestions, along with some conversation, you know, a little pickup. You know, it was a whole different mentality once I had myself experienced, you know, most people have never been homeless in their life. Now imagine being homeless with your family, and it can come at the blink of an eye. You can lose your job and can't find another one. And all of a sudden, you know what? Your landlord doesn't care about your situation. Your car company that you have your car financed through, they don't care about your situation. You know, nobody cares that you know, why you can't pay your bills. They just know that you can't pay your bills. Guys, I'm getting close to work. This might start doing a little, choppy here. But so if I don't get a chance, join me tonight at 7 o'clock this afternoon if you can. And I'll try and get on we'll do another show. But follow me if you can. You know, everything you guys do to support me, I appreciate it. Go to my Patreon account if you can and become a patron. If I start to be choppy here in a second, it's because I'm getting into the work zone, so I'm chopped. I'm starting to break up. So give me near the afternoon. Yeah, I'll try to see how far we can get in with this. But so, start the day off, start Monday out right. That's the way to do it. It's going to be a good day. Hopefully it'll go fast. That's what I'm counting on. Fast. Get it done with. Safe. Back on the road. Alright. Oh my God. I'd stay awake. If I could stay awake, I'm sure I will. This is one of those days where I might just take my lunch and just go kick back in the car for a half hour. Spend an hour by hour lunch, whatever it is. Ugh. We'll just call it right here. Alright guys, well thanks for hanging with me on the way to work. It was, appreciate you. I'll just go ahead and wind it up, and I'll give you my shameless plug. If you can, please go to, I'm on Twitch, POV America on Twitch, I'm on YouTube, Periscope, Mixer, all these different platforms. If you can subscribe to me, I'd appreciate it. And I'll let you know when I come back during lunch. I probably won't do a stream, but I will do it after work around 3:15 on the way. We'll do the afternoon drive, and then I'll do the 7 o'clock tonight. And we'll kind of pick up where we left off. Have a great day, and if I don't, I'll see you when I see you. How about that?